Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Hotspur House. Today we are going to be talking about some transfer rumors, our players on the international break, and then after that we'll be previewing our big clash against Manchester City coming up next weekend. Today I am joined by Louis. How you doing, Louis?
Hello. I'm good, mate. How are you?
Pretty good. And I'm also joined by Bodhi. How you doing, Bodhi?
I'm doing good.
Alrighty. Bodhi, by the way, is from hotspur.industry on Instagram. And Louis is from Spurs_fan.page_. So drop a follow on both of them. I'm, of course, Tobey from _Spurs Center, and you can drop a follow on me as well. Alrighty, before we really get started into this, Louis is going to just say one quick thing and offer our condolences.
So if you didn't know that, if you watch this, some of the older Tottenham fans has just had some very sad news that former Tottenham Hotspur goalkeeper Ray Clements has passed away during cancer. He had a fight against cancer and probably lost his life. So just to any of Ray Clements' family, hope you're doing okay after your loss, and all the Tottenham fans are here for you.
Yeah, definitely. We offer
There's
all our condolences here.
There's some facts about Ray Clements. He was born on the 5th of August in Skerries, England, and then he died at the age of 72. And he was a 6-foot goalkeeper. And he started at Notts County. Then he went to Scunthorpe United, then Liverpool, then Tottenham. He's represented England under-23s 4 times and England first team 61 times.
Impressive player.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said, we just want to offer our condolences, and it's a truly sad day that we've lost a legend.
And also, everyone in the comments put RIP Ray Clements. Hashtag it. Moving swiftly on.
Alrighty. So let's talk about some transfer rumors. We'll start with the Boateng, Jerome Boateng from Bayern Munich. There was some rumors this week that after he did not renew his contract and Bayern chose not to renew his contract, that Spurs were interested. Bodhi, we'll start with you. What would you think about us signing Boateng?
Look, and I've heard a lot of people don't really like the sounds of him, but I think he's a proven centre back. He plays for one of the biggest teams in the world, and he's one of the first choice centre backs at the biggest team in the world currently. So I think he's a proven centre back. He's all round strong. He's solid. He's capable. Obviously he's not been in the Prem before, so it could be a gamble. Mm-hmm. But I honestly think that he would come good.
He would be on a free too, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he'd be on free.
That's a good point, I guess. He is 32, and he'll
probably retire in a few months.
No, he probably has a solid 2 or 3 years left in him. But I think we need. We were talking about this a little bit before we started, but I think I'd rather go with someone younger,
Skriniar.
Those obviously are going to cost a lot more, but I feel like in the long run it's better because our current center back options we have are Tanganga, Rodon, Dyer, Sanchez, and Alderweireld. And I think Alderweireld, he has plenty of experience, and he's only 31. So if we needed an experienced center back, I feel like we already have it in Alderweireld. And then we have the 2 young, promising players in Rodon and Tanganga. And then we have Dyer and Sanchez, who theoretically are at the prime of their game as we speak. But I think I would go for Upamecano or Skriniar, like I said. And then if we aren't able to finalize deals, then I would go for Boateng if he hasn't already signed for someone else. What do you think about Boateng, Louis?
He's quite young. He is a very experienced centre back. He has never been transferred to any other club. He's all stayed at Bayern for the rest of his life. And to be honest, if we do get him, probably be a record 3.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, he's been at Bayern since 2011, but I think you meant he's quite old because he's 32. Yeah, I didn't know this. He played for Manchester City in 2010 and 2011. So Apparently, he
But
does
yeah,
have a little bit
before
of
he
Premier League
went to
experience, but that was quite a while
like a
ago.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Maybe
like
so. He played 24 games for them, so he probably was there for like a season. Yeah, I know he was there for exactly one season, but yeah, I think what our current like center back pairing of Alderweireld and Dyer really misses is like the pace. And Sanchez, he makes too many mistakes. I'll admit that. I do like Sanchez a lot, but he's been making quite a bit of mistakes, and I've been using the he's young, like he'll grow into it excuse quite a lot over the past few years, but now he's 24. I don't think you can really use that anymore. He's had plenty of time to get that out of
he
his
should
game.
be.
He hasn't.
Not gonna lie. He'll probably be in like the. He hasn't made appearance for the England squad yet, but stuff like Connor Cody and stuff like that has made an appearance.
Yeah, actually, I wouldn't mind Connor Cody. He seems to be pretty solid in the back and Premier League proven, which is
he's doing some good performances for England. He'll probably play later against Belgium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, although he is 27 as well, so
yeah,
I think.
probably
I'd be okay with a 27-year-old, but it's just I don't know. I prefer we go for someone a little bit younger, but that's just me. I think if we did sign Boateng or Cody, we'd be fine. Like we do have, like I said, we do have Rodon and Tanganga, who can be like our young pairing for the future, and then hopefully Rodon even and Tanganga also can start getting back into the first team, or for Tanganga getting back into the first team for Rodon breaking into the first team for the first time. Moving on.
Tanganga's a top player. Is a top centre back. He's already broken into the first team. He's been injured for ages. He's been injured. So
yeah,
he only played because Mourinho there was no other like replacements because they were all out injured, so he was the only other replacement.
Yeah, it does make me worried how often he gets injured, because I mean we can't like rely on someone who gets injured that often, so we need to have like multiple center backs at the club. Plus,
he's only been injured once while he's been in the first team. Not to,
no,
it was unfortunate.
Or 2 times at
really?
least. Yeah, because he got injured at the end of last season, then he came back this season, and he was injured. No, yeah. So last season he got injured towards the end of it. That was one, and he got injured with something different at the beginning of this season, and then he came back for that Chelsea game, and then after the Chelsea game he got injured again. So he's been injured 3 times.
I think he's just been unfortunate with a lot of long-term injuries.
Yeah, I do think he's been unlucky, and hopefully, it's something that just doesn't happen. But it's just people who get injured a lot, they seem to get injured. Like it doesn't just like stop suddenly. So and it's the same thing with like Harry Kane. He gets one big injury a season, and the season that he doesn't get injured is the season we can like push for the title. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Moving on though, there was another transfer rumor.
Paulo Dybala.
Paulo Dybala. We'll start with you, Louis. What do you think about the Paulo Dybala?
Well, obviously he was rumored to join Spurs in 2019, the summer of 2019.
Yep.
But on transfer deadline day, the transfer actually fell through the table and was cancelled because we didn't have enough funds. And then obviously you tried to sign him again this season, but we didn't really. Did it not go through again? I don't think it went through again.
Yeah,
and then obviously now we've been rooming with him for the 3rd time in a row.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get my hopes up this time.
Neither. Not many Spurs fans are confident it will go through. It will go through.
No. Yeah.
And it had to be like a big deal. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. I mean, if we could get Paulo Dybala, he seems like he's a similar player to Dele Alli in like terms of his positioning.
Yeah, but imagine if Dele and Paulo Dybala did a swap deal, say.
I mean,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be a straight swap because we would definitely have to give them something extra.
And then we'd have to cash in, obviously.
It would have to be Dele plus like 10 or 15 or 20 mil. But
Dele surprisingly still got quite a bit of value on him, so I feel like now's the time to cash in on him.
But just looking at like they play a similar position in terms of like playing off of like the striker, but we don't have a player in our lineup anymore that does that because we play.
See, the thing is with the rumor, it hasn't directly involved Spurs being interested in him again. It said that the rumor was that Juventus aren't able to pay his wages anymore, so it looks like he's on his way out. But the source never directly mentioned Spurs pursuing him, so I'm more just waiting. I'm not going to believe it until like Fabrizio Romano confirms it.
Well, that's the other thing too, is that Juventus are currently offering him £170,000 a week, and what his agent is demanding is £260,000 a week. And our highest paid player right now is Harry Kane on $200,000 a week. So we wouldn't break our wage structure to sign him. I think like the highest we would go would probably be like $220,000 a week. If we even did that, we'd probably offer him $200,000 first and then negotiate off of there if we agreed a deal with Juventus. But actually, going to go back to what I was saying earlier. We play with a defensive mid in Højbjerg, a powerhouse in Sissoko, and then an attacking mid in Ndombele. And Ndombele, he isn't even really an attacking mid. He's like a transition midfielder. Like he gets the ball from Sissoko or Højbjerg or one of our defenders, and he pulls off a skill move or finds a quick pass to get through their midfield line and then set free Kane, Son, and Bale. I mean, we've seen that against West Brom. It was clear against Southampton when he did the skill move and then he played in Kane, who assisted Son. He's done it in every game he's played in so far.
Right? He's creative. He's the only proper creative player. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Lo Celso. He hasn't been like in the same season.
Although Lo Celso, we'll talk about him later.
But based on form, he's been our only real creative midfielder. And to be honest, he doesn't even play that high. So we need someone with that creativity. Dele Alli used to have that, but one, you can't rely on one player because if he gets injured, then you're knackered. Also, two, he hasn't been able to do anything. So, and you can't just give it to one of the wingers or Harry Kane and expect them to make something of it because while Kane's great at passing and all that, that's not his job. That's not what he's meant to do.
Well,
someone like Dybala, Coutinho could have really helped the team. Even Hakim Ziyech, one of them three would be a really big signing.
But I think that's part of the like we're playing counter-attacking football right now. So we play the ball to Ndombele, who does what I just said. He gets the ball up to Kane or Son or Bale, and then they counterattack quickly, and they score. And that's what's been working for us so far. But I do agree that like we can't rely on that. But I just wanted to say like I do think that's part of what Kane's job is now, because he has that in his locker of things he can call upon in game situation. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think Højbjerg could play as a holding mid, and then we could play with Ndombele or Lo Celso next to him, and then play like Dybala on top of them.
I'm gonna be honest. After I've kind of realized that I don't feel like Lo Celso and Ndombele and Højbjerg just won't work as a midfielder anymore.
I think it will.
I think it suits better with Ndombele and Lo Celso fighting for a spot rather than the two of them playing together.
I think we won't see it often, but I think when we can, it'll be great. But Mourinho won't play it unless it's gonna work. And by that I mean he won't play it unless Ndombele and Lo Celso are in peak physical condition. Because to play two like almost attacking mids, we need them to be able to track back, and that's something that Lo Celso does really well. But he's still getting back into his fitness. And Ndombele, he's been much better this season, but there's still times where he's caught not tracking back as quickly as we'd want him to. But I do think that is just such a strong lineup to play. Because we have Højbjerg who can win the ball, and he's even a little tricky on the ball. I mean, you see his roulette turns that he does, and then he can lay it off to one of Domblé or Lo Celso, and both of them are ball carriers who can get the ball up the field. And then they're both incredibly creative in and around the box. So I think that we'd score massive amounts of goals that way. We would just need our defense to be incredibly strong because they were going to be counting us a lot if we do that. Because I think one of the front five essentially would lose the ball, and then they'd be trying to counter us, and we'd only have Højbjerg and our four defenders. Or actually, not even our four defenders. We'd probably have Højbjerg and then one of our outside backs and the two center backs back because the other fullback would have pushed up. But I do think that once we see it, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it in one of our big games coming up. Maybe not Man City, but against Chelsea, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them 3 going. Although I also wouldn't be surprised if we didn't play him against Chelsea because I think we'd want to play Højbjerg and Sissoko to really lock down Ziyech. And we want Sissoko's pace, I think, in the midfield. But we'll talk more about Chelsea later, obviously. And yeah, anything you want to add to that, Louis?
I just roll on to Man City, basically.
All right. I don't think there's really been any other transfer rumors regarding Spurs. Oh, well, there has been.
Eriksen, yeah.
Well, Eriksen, yeah.
No, Marcel
rumors.
Sabitzer. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Marcel Sabitzer.
Marcel Sabitzer.
Yes,
Sabitzer, yeah.
Sabitzer.
I think this one, we talked about this last week or on Wednesday, but it's just, I think Marcel Sabitzer is a better option going forward. Eriksen, I mean, if you look at his stats from last season, they're pretty abysmal for Inter and for Spurs, to be completely honest. But he only scored 1 goal for Inter last season, and that was off of a miss of a corner where, I mean, surprisingly, shockingly, Eriksen scored off of a corner. But he took it like every other corner he ever has, and it would have hit the first man if whoever they were playing had a first man. But instead, it just kind of went through, and he ended up scoring because there was no first man there, and it kind of just rolled into the goal. But in 17 appearances last year for Inter, he had 1 goal and 2 assists. And then for Spurs, in 20 appearances, he had 2 goals and 2 assists. So I think he's off form, and we don't need an off form player. I think Domblé and Lo Celso are on form, and unless something drastic changes, like he starts banging in the goals for Inter, I wouldn't take him. And also, I think there would be just a feud almost between the players. Seeing Eriksen come back after the comments he made about Inter being more likely to win trophies, it would just.
It turns out he didn't win them.
Yeah, and he didn't win trophies, and neither did Spurs, to be fair. But he didn't believe in the project. I don't think he didn't believe that Mourinho would take us where we wanted to go.
Who didn't?
What'd you say, Bodhi?
Who didn't believe? Eriksen?
I don't think he did. No, with Mourinho.
Yeah, Eriksen.
He left like 2 months after Mourinho came, and to be fair, he had been talking about leaving. But you don't pack your bags. He packed his bags to leave Spurs before he had even played in the Champions League final, and he didn't seem committed to the club. His mind was all over the place before going even into the biggest game of his career, the biggest game of Spurs history, probably. And I just don't see him coming back. I don't think Levy will want him back. I don't think Mourinho will want him back. So I take Sabitzer, and he played very well against us in the Champions League last season, and he's been playing very well for Leipzig this season.
I feel like Sabitzer is not really what we need. I feel like I honestly do feel like we should bring back Eriksen.
I think Sabitzer, he just offers so much. He can play as a cam. He can play as a center mid. He can play as a defensive mid. He can play as a right winger or right mid. So
he can play anywhere. Not gonna lie, apart from goalie.
Yeah, but we don't need versatility in this team. We look at the squad that we have. We need someone that it doesn't matter about their versatility. They could be only good at one position and doing one thing. That's what we need right now. We need someone. who
Well, it would be
doesn't.
good to have another player in the lineup who could play as a defensive mid, because right now we only have.
Yeah, I know, but like
Oh,
at the
yeah.
minute we
I guess
don't need
Dyer could.
we don't need someone who can play wherever. Okay, we need someone that can play one specific position really, really well, and I feel like Eriksen fits the bill. Or
But he's
Coutinho,
not playing any position very well. That's my point. Is he's played attacking mid very poorly for the past 12 months, 13 months.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't think Eriksen is the same player he was in that 18-19 season. And I mean, Sabitzer, he's playing his position very well. He's got 9 goals and 7 assists last season in 30 starts. And if you compare that to like Dele Alli, who played in almost all of our games last season, he
didn't play in all of them.
He played in 21. He started 21. He has 25 appearances, and he had 8 goals and 4 assists. So
I think we should, in that case then I feel like we should sign Coutinho.
Coutinho, where would he play?
Well, he's literally exactly what we need.
I don't know.
Did you not see Bergwijn? He was absolutely flat.
He was very good for Bayern, yeah.
It was only a loan spell.
The only reason, right, he didn't do good at Barcelona was because he couldn't handle the pressure that he got from the fans, and then when he couldn't perform to the amount of expectation because of the pressure, the fans obliterated him, and then he didn't want to play anymore. As soon as he went to Bayern, there was no pressure on him. He done well. There was no significant pressure for him to do well because Bayern fans didn't have much hope for him because of his campaign at Barcelona. So then they were really happy with him when he started playing well. And he fed off the motivation and had an outstanding season. If he came to Spurs, he'd become one of the best central attacking mids in the world, like he used to be at Liverpool.
The only reason I don't think we'll sign Coutinho is because of his price tag. I mean, he went to Barcelona for 126 million, and they're going to be wanting to recoup a large amount of that. And Levy won't pay it. I wouldn't want to pay it either. I'd rather go for someone like Sabitzer. Who let's see. Let's compare their stats, because last season they both played in the same league.
I'll be honest with you, right? For value for money, Sabitzer is the better option. But for actual quality, because if I've seen all these Spurs fans. They're like, okay, we can win the title this season. I'm telling you, unless we get someone like a Coutinho or Dybala, this title is not happening. I tell you exactly who we should sign next. Either in January we should sign a centre back, and in the summer we should sign a CDM like Calvin Phillips, and a central attacking mid like Paulo Dybala, or Coutinho, whoever. Those are the 3 signings that we need to win the Premier League. And I tell you, if we make those signings, we will win that Premier League. I'm saying we're not going to win it this season, but if we make all 3 of those signings, we're going to win it. They're 3 big money, very, very good price tags. Well, very high profile players. They're very good. They're exactly what we need. You can argue if you want, but when you look at it, when you look at the stats, when you look at what our team lacks, he's literally, those 3 signings will win us titles. That and the rest of our team. Believe me or not.
I don't disagree about the center back and the defensive mid. Although I think, Calvin Phillips, he would come in and he'd probably replace Sissoko in the starting lineup, depending on whether or not Lo Celso would fill that spot. But
like I said, you can disagree, but it's facts. I'm not saying Calvin Phillips to replace Højbjerg or something. I'm referring to him as more of like someone to battle with Højbjerg, or to replace
okay, but I don't think he's going to be battling with Højbjerg in the starting lineup, because I think that'll be Skip when he comes back. Skip will be playing as Højbjerg's deputy, and then Calvin Phillips would play either alongside Højbjerg, taking Sissoko's spot in our current starting lineup, or Lo Celso would take that spot by then. And then Calvin Phillips would be trying to fight with Lo Celso to get into the starting lineup.
Those three players that I've suggested is just to to win something with the formation we're playing. I honestly feel like
Well, I mean,
I feel like we should. I
we
feel
don't
like
play
we
with
should.
an attacking mid in our starting lineup, and it's worked. I
Yeah.
mean, if you look at
I feel like no. I feel like we should play a 4-4-2. I'm still stubborn to that. I genuinely think 4-4-2 is our best formation.
we get bossed out of the midfield with that, though. I don't think that the only reason I don't think that would work if we played it continuously is because I think the midfield would be overrun. I think they'd own the midfield over us.
Literally the definition of counter-attacking football, and you said it yourself earlier in the pod. That's what's been working for us. So you can't say that counter-attacking football is working for us and not say 4-4-2 is the best formation for us to use, because that's the best formation for counter-attacking football. But it's true though. It's true.
Okay, yes, I agree that the 4-4-2 is probably the best formation for counter-attacking. However, on defense, we'd be almost every team in the Premier League right now, especially the big teams, play with 3 center mids. So when they're attacking us, it'd be Højbjerg and probably Dombele, or Højbjerg and Lo Celso. And I think we just got overrun. I mean, Højbjerg can only do so much. Dombele isn't that great at defending, and they play.
That's why I'm suggesting another really capable CDM. Like I said, Calvin Phillips. Also, like you said, Oliver Skip. I love Oliver Skip. I think he's hard as nails. I think he's class. I feel like he's extremely underrated. See, either one of those two, but one of those two will really help.
I think the 4-4-2 is a good formation to play sometimes, like against, let's say, like Brighton or Burnley or Fulham.
No, I disagree personally. I feel like we should play a higher line, because you see how they're playing so deep now. Because teams like them, they will settle for draws. Because
well, that's why we put the extra attacker on.
You can take the piss out of Spurs, but realistically, they're one of the best teams in the world still, and they're only going up at the minute. So teams like Burnley and Brighton will be delighted to have even just a draw, 0-0. So they will be willing to sit back and just let us play our game until we make a mistake, and they could either counterattack, or they could just, be absolute sweats and just keep it at 0-0. So what you have to do is you go all out first couple minutes, get that one goal, and then after you get that goal, they know they have to score, because they won't be happy with a loss. They'll want to draw at least. So you have to come at them really early, extremely hard. Then once you get that first goal, then it's basically our game to lose.
Yeah. I do think that the 4-4-2 with Vinicius and Kane up front would be good to use against those lower teams, just because I think Vinicius opens up like more opportunities for Kane, some more space for Kane, and some more space for Son and Bale. But I do think that leaves us exposed on the counterattack.
I personally feel like Son plays better as a striker than a left mid.
Well, his stats are better because he's playing in the central position, but I think he's a better left winger.
I personally don't agree, but...
Well, I mean, if you play as a striker, your stats are going to be better than if you played as a left winger.
I'll be honest. I'd rather see Lucas Moura play on the left side than Son, and Son in the middle.
I don't think Lucas Moura is a very good left winger.
Because if you think about it, right, you see Lucas Moura, how he's all the dribbles and all. He can coincide like that. He's proper good at dribbling, and then you have Reguilon overlapping down the left side. There's so much more options on the left side when you have Moura playing there than Son.
Well, I mean, Son cuts inside too.
Yeah, I know. I know that, but I'm referring to Moura can cut inside and then can take the ball on his own to the center of the final third of the pitch, and then open up more chances. Son doesn't have that sort of dribbling.
Well, I mean, I don't think Lucas Moura has that type of dribbling either, to be honest. I mean, he loses the ball.
No, have you not seen every single bit of his good highlights revolves around his dribbling?
I mean, if you watch his highlights, obviously it's just going to be the good good pieces. But if you watch him during a game, he takes on one player, and he does well. But then
Moore's
he
his
takes on
class.
another. If he takes on 2 or 3, he loses the ball. So he can't. I don't think Lucas Moura can take on multiple players. He's an incredible dribbler of the ball, but he can't get past 2 or 3 people in a row. He loses the ball.
No, I really disagree with that. I feel like Moura is much.
I mean, occasionally.
I feel like you're being a bit harsh towards Moura. I think he's a lot better than what you're saying.
Lucas Moura is we've talked about this before as well, but he's either exceptional or you don't see him in the game. And I think it's too often that you don't notice him, that I'd rather have I'd rather have Bergwijn on, my first choice would be to have Son on the left. I think it's
look, I don't want to come off like really harsh, but Bergwijn hasn't really showed much at the minute. Bergwijn hasn't showed much at all. Obviously, he got that goal for United against United and City. You know, that was all well and good. But what else has he? What has he actually done since then?
Okay, well, he's scored against Wolves and he's provided an assist against Newcastle. But he's also, he's played in this season. He's played in 4 games in the Premier League, and he's only had 1 start. So you can't expect him to have any sort of actual play, like any stats to go on off of that.
No, I'm not referring to stats. I'm just referring to when you naturally just watch him. I don't see him contributing anything significant to the team. Oh, what he does, right? This is what I see. He takes the ball. He cuts inside. Right, that's all well and good, and then he passes it.
Well, yes, that is what wingers tend to do.
No, I don't mean it like that. I mean, I don't see him creating anything.
Okay, in the last 4 games he's played in, keep in mind, he's only in one of them, and only one of them he played the full 90 minutes. He's provided 2 assists. He's played 26 minutes against Ludogorets, 45 minutes against Antwerp, 72 minutes against West Ham, and then 90 minutes against Maccabi Haifa.
So all I'm saying is, he's not as amazing as what the fans make him out to be. And you'll see.
I think he's an exceptional player. He gets the ball on the left. He either takes his man down the line, which he's done before. You're acting like he hasn't done that, and then he cuts in across, or he cuts inside. And yes, occasionally he's gonna just pass the ball back because there's not going to be an exquisite pass to play every time. But sometimes he'll cut inside and he'll play that ball into Kane or into Dombele. And
like 5% of the time he does that. I've seen him do it like once or twice.
Oh, that's some baloney right there. I think he does that very frequently, and it's not always the flashiest play, but it's something that it helps the team. When you get a player who can get the ball out on the left and then cut back in and play a quick ball into Kane or to Son or to Dombele, that opens up space for them because everyone's shifting over to the right side if Bergwijn's playing on the left. And then everyone's shifting over to that right side. And if you play the ball back in and then Dombele or Kane has the skill to get around one player, and then they have so much space that they can open up and then play a ball into Son or into Bale, or if it's Dombele into Kane, or if it's Kane into Dombele, and then we have a shot on goal. So the stats may not reflect it because he doesn't get the assist for it, but I think he's an important player. And right now he's kind of being kept on the fringe by Mourinho, but I do think we'll see some more of him soon.
Look, if you think I'm being harsh, or you think I'm talking absolute bollocks, then that's up to you to believe. But realistically, I'm being realistic here. I want to see Spurs do well, and for Spurs to do well, you can't have any errors. So even if he takes on 10 players and then he beats 9 of them, you still got to work on that one player. That's how harsh I'm trying to be here, because I love Spurs.
Okay, well, you can't use that on Bergwijn and not apply that to Lucas Moura.
I know, but what I'm referring to is I want to see the club succeed, and I want to see Spurs do well. And for that to work, you need the players to have the consistency and to be able to do all the right things. And I really haven't seen much of that in Bergwijn yet.
I'm not saying I want him to start right now.
Look, maybe
Um,
maybe we will in the future, but at the current time, at least, I haven't seen any of it.
yeah. Well, okay. So like I said, I don't think he isn't going to start right now. That's spots Suns, and then the right side is Bales, and I'd rather see Lamela start than either Lucas or Bergwijn at the moment. But I'm just saying, I think he's an exceptional player, and he has a bright future in front of him. He's only 23, and like if you look at his stats just from last season, he had 8 starts and he had 3 goals and 1 assist.
No, we can't. No.
Also,
we can't use that age. We can't use that age card anymore. Like
anymore. He's been here for 8 months.
no.
Here, let me ask you this.
I understand that, right? But Dele Alli, how old's Dele Alli? He's like the same age.
He's 24.
Well, either way, it's pretty much very similar. I don't think he's that young anymore. I think in a couple of years he'll be in his prime, and
Let me ask you this. At the end of last season, were you saying that Mourinho should have been playing Dombele more, and that we should keep him, or were you saying that we should sell Dombele?
No, I genuinely thought we should have kept him.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, it's just like this double standard. I feel like, just the hype around Bergwijn isn't the same that it is around Dombele, and Dombele made way more mistakes than Bergwijn has. So, I just think we just have to be a little patient. I mean, he hasn't even been in England for an entire year yet, and if you look at his stats, I mean, he's a good player. He hasn't played as well for us in the Premier League yet, but I do think he's a better option going forward than Lucas Moura, and he just turned 23 less than a month ago, or a little over a month ago. So, and I don't think it's the same as Dele Alli. He's 24. I think he's almost 25. I'll check on that, because Dele Alli, he's 24. He turns 25 in April, and we were talking about Sanchez, who's 24 as well, and he turns 25 in June. So, I think.
Let me ask you this, right?
Bergwijn has until next season, before we can stop saying he's young. I think when
he's not young. He's like in his middle. He's like in his middle things.
Yeah, he's between being young and being in his prime, I think.
Okay, and let me ask you this, right? How much longer are you willing to stick with him? How much longer are you willing to keep saying, "Oh no, he'll come good in this," before you say, "Right, okay, time to sell him"? Honestly, how much longer?
Until the start of next season.
Until the start of next season. But then let me ask you this, right? How come Dele Alli and Sanchez, those are the two main ones I'm going with here, right? How come we haven't heard anything about saying time to sell them up until recently now? I feel
no one's
I
honestly
you say that, but I feel like you're gonna keep on saying that for a lot more seasons. Like, I agree, this is his season. This is his season. And if he doesn't, for me personally, if he doesn't do well this season, I honestly feel like we kind of wasted our money on him.
I feel like that is so incredibly harsh.
But that's what I said, though. I said you need to be harsh towards players, even on the slightest things. You need to be extremely harsh if you want to be the best.
You can't apply that to Bergwijn and then say Lucas Moura should be starting, because Lucas Moura makes more mistakes than Bergwijn does.
I do feel like Moura has contributed more than Bergwijn.
Obviously, because Lucas Moura has been here for 4 years. I think in a game by game situation, if you have the option to play Lucas or if you have the option to play Bergwijn, I'd rather play Bergwijn.
Look, okay, I'm just saying this now. He's not going to end up being the player that we all thought he was.
He's played in. Let's see. Hold on. I want to look at this. Bergwijn has played.
I'm not going to argue. I'm just saying this now. You can deny it all you want, but you'll look back on this and you'll realize, oh wait, he was actually right. I'm not gonna
He's
argue
only
about this.
started 9 games.
No,
He's only started
no, no,
9
I said
games.
listen,
He
no,
started
listen,
less than
listen,
10.
Listen, like I said, I'm not going to argue about this anymore, right? But I've told you that this is what I'm saying, and nothing can change my mind. I will be stubborn to this until we sell him, and then you will look back on this, and then you will realize that I was right. You can believe me. You
I'm
can
never
say
gonna
I'm
look
wrong.
back on this and say that you're right. I'm gonna be honest about that.
But no, you can say I'm wrong now, but I know that's gonna it's good. I know.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up because we've been talking about these two for a while.
Yeah, we've been
Louis
waffling
hasn't
for
said
the-
anything for like 20 minutes. But the last thing I'm gonna say is Bergwijn has only started 9 games in the Premier League.
Okay, that's the
Only
end of the
9.
podcast. Thank you very much. Sorry for that we've been waffling. And
Okay.
goodbye.
No, just Bergwijn's only started 9 games. He's had way less opportunities than everyone else
Okay,
we've
that's
been
the end
comparing
of the
him to.
podcast. Toby
Oh
is
my
going
God,
to stop
Louis, I'm
talking
gonna
about
mute you.
Bergwijn.
So, like I've been trying to say.
All right, that's the end of the podcast. See you later. Bye.
I'm back. Bye.
I'm gonna mute both of you. Okay. Now we're gonna preview Man City really quickly now because we've spent so much time talking about Bergwijn and Lucas Moura. How do you guys think the game against Man City is gonna go?
All right.
I think we're gonna get hammered.
We are going to concede.
Yeah, I think so too.
We're going.
We'll start with score predictions. Bodhi, you can go first.
I'm saying a 3-1.
Oh god. 2-1 Tottenham.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Maybe?
with 2-1 Spurs as well. I think we're gonna
All
win.
right, and what's our predicted lineups?
All right, you want to start, Louis?
I think it's going to be unchanged from the West Brom game, but Bale's going to come in to play.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna go for too. And just for any of you that don't remember the West Brom lineup, it was Lloris, Reguilon, Dyer, Alderweireld, Doherty. And then in midfield we had Domblé, Højbjerg, Sissoko. On the left, Son. On top, Kane, and then on the right, Bale.
Class.
Yeah, that's a class lineup. What do you think? What are you thinking about this one, Bodhi?
I really don't know. All I'm sure of is that we'll probably play our strongest lineup, based on who's fit to play and who's not feeling up to it. Because obviously City's one of the best teams in the world, so you're going to play your toughest lineup. I'm not really going to say an exact lineup because I know I'll be wrong. But we'll probably play our strongest lineup.
Yeah, it's pretty early. We still have a week, and there could be like injuries in training, or Jose Mourinho could say something that'll make us all realize.
What's everyone's predictions for the England game?
For the England game,
if you're gonna watch it,
I'm gonna go 1-1 draw.
And USA game.
Wait, who's England playing?
Belgium.
I
think it's gonna be 2-1 England. Kane and Sancho.
I think it'll be 1-1.
Lukaku for Belgium. If he's playing. If not, Hazard.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think we should wrap up there, boys.
Yep.
That is the end of the
listening.
podcast.
This has been another episode of the Hotspur House. We really enjoyed having you.
I'm sorry,
just
to say, sorry for waffling so much.
Thank you for listening. Like I said, we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Overcast.
Get us to 20 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, we just hit 20 subscribers. Pretty massive milestone, if you ask me.
Get us to 30
thank you all
by
for
the
listening. Leave a rating on Apple Podcasts if you're listening there. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
If you're on YouTube, make sure that you comment your opinions on this.
Oh yeah. If you're on YouTube, comment your opinions. We'd love to hear them.
Yay.
All right. See you next time, guys. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.